then finally, let's talk a little bit about Zion Williamson's defense. Zion is obviously a fantastic offensive player. He's one of the most efficient scorers inside in the league. But he was a generational prospect coming out of Duke because he looked like he had the ability to be Draymond Green, who scored 25 points a game. That was the kind of player that he looked like in college. If you go back and watch 5-minute highlights of him in college, he is flying around, blocking jump shots, diving on the floor, making plays. He was a whirling dervish on the defensive end of the court. We have just not seen that same level of defensive effort and ability in the NBA really at any point. And now he's just frankly a bad defensive player. And look, the Pelicans have had a nice start. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, Zion Williamson. That is an elite offensive group of talent. But if this team wants to be a real contender, which is what they're trying to do with this group that they've got, they have to get better defensively, and that has to start with Zion Williamson. You cannot win big in the NBA if you're essentially playing a big that's 6'4", 6'5", that's a train wreck on defense. I just don't see how the Pelicans can find a way to get around that moving forward if Zion doesn't get better. Go back and watch some clips from the game against Portland last Thursday. He was just getting blown by player, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, different guys just roasting him on the defensive end of the court. That is not going to be acceptable if the Pelicans want to get where they want to go. So that is one thing I'd encourage you to watch. If you tune into a Pelicans game, yes, obviously Zion is a terrific offensive player. He's going to do some spectacular stuff at that end of the court. But just when the other team is on offense, watch Zion on defense and watch the energy and effort he's putting in on that end of the court. See if it seems like he's following rotations, if he's where he's supposed to be, if he's, staying in front of his man. Just see how that goes and see how often teams are attacking him. I think as this season progresses, you're going to see teams go at him a lot more. Try to attack him as much as possible, like Portland did in that game. Zion had 17 points in the fourth quarter of that game to keep it close, but part of the reason he had to keep it close was because the defense was terrible. It wasn't good enough to win the game. And, so that's the thing to me going forward with this Pelicans team. They think they could be a real threat in the West to be a factor. They've got to get better on defense to do that. That starts with Zion Williamson. So let's see where that goes from here. But that will do it for this week's edition of the Stock Report. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. Watch the rest of our ESPN NBA YouTube content, Howdy Partners, the LA Show with Ohm and Dave. Got a bunch of cool stuff on here. Obviously, pay attention to the Hoop Collective. McMahon and I are on with Windhorst every Friday. Brian's recording 3 times a week, so check that out. But otherwise, hope you had a fun weekend. Enjoy the week of hoops. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.